Yo, what's up, Hoop fans? This is Her Hoops coming at you with some fire news that's shaking the women's basketball world. Candace Parker, yes, the Candace Parker, just dropped a bomb, and it's about Caitlin Clark. And if you thought college basketball was just hype, think again. Candace Parker straight up called Caitlin Clark the GOAT and the face of women's basketball. That's not just a compliment. It's a challenge to every narrative, every critic, and honestly, every player in the game. Now let's get real for a second.
And it looked like Candace Parker had some things to say about Caitlin Clark and this current CBA negotiations. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Indy.
Yeah, we need more of this. We need more of this. It is good when the legends can be honest and they are not so jealous and filled with hate. Cheryl Swoops, you need to be paying a little bit more attention to Candace Parker. Yeah, Cheryl, you was hating for a long time. And we have people like Candace Parker that aren't blind to the facts.
Caitlin Clark has been dominating headlines with insane range, ridiculous scoring, and clutch plays that make you stop mid-dribble just to stare at the screen. And Parker sees it all: the talent, the vision, the marketability, and the ability to connect with fans. This isn't just hype, it's a seal of approval from one of the greatest to ever play the game. Here's why this is big. The WNBA is in a transitional moment.
I'm gonna have to get back tapped in with all the smoke, man. Let's see what she had to say.
Caitlin Clark.
Unlimited range, I think I know you said, first thing. Okay, it's not a word.
No, first thing.
No, I think she has transcended. I mean, you think about that Midwest, fall in love, whatever. You think about what Iowa had, sellout crowds, things like that. It transcended to other areas as a result of...
The league is negotiating its CBA. Players are fighting for fair pay. And stars like Clark are carrying the conversation about what women athletes deserve, both on and off the court. Candace isn't just praising talent. She's validating the movement, the voice, and the potential that Caitlin Clark represents. And make no mistake, that's going to stir debates everywhere, from college arenas to professional courts, from fans to media personalities. So buckle up, because this is more than a story about a rising star. This is about legacy, recognition, and the next era of women's basketball.
She did just a couple speaking engagements this week. Nothing really to make videos about. She hasn't been doing anything really, which is crazy to me, because you would think she had the whole, she was hurt. She's been not playing ball. Shouldn't you footage be coming out of Caitlin playing basketball, getting ready for the season? But I guess if you don't know if the season's going to start, hang out? I don't know. Now, Candace Parker made it her business to speak about.
Candace Parker just set the bar, and Caitlin Clark is standing at the top, daring anyone to say otherwise. Here on Her Hoops, we don't just report the news. We break it down, react to it, and keep it real for the fans who live and breathe hoops. And trust me, after hearing what Candace said, you're going to want to see exactly why Caitlin Clark is being crowned the GOAT. Before we get too deep into the hype, let's set the stage. Caitlin Clark didn't just appear out of nowhere. She's been a force of nature in women's basketball for years.
For so long, people have been in denial about it, and it's just nice to see that a legend in her own right isn't fighting that reality. Her mind isn't clouded with jealousy and envy.
That leads back to where the game is now in terms of shooting, and her taking that and making it better. And Steph Curry talks about it all the time, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, those were the dudes. And Steph has taken that and has added to his craft. And I think, I know Diana Taurasi's on this list. I think Caitlin Clark has done that, because Diana...
Putting up insane scoring numbers and making every game feel like a national spotlight event. Sellout crowds, viral highlights, and debates about her being the next WNBA superstar. Clark has carried the conversation about what it means to be a modern women's basketball player. And that's where Candace Parker's comments get really interesting. Candace isn't just a legend because of her rings or her stats. She's a pioneer who's lived through every struggle and triumph of this sport. From breaking barriers in the WNBA to dealing with the politics and underpay of women's basketball.
What is your thought process? Because you were, obviously Lisa and them started it. You had a heavy influence on carrying it to where it is today. And now, I feel lockouts only hurt us. Lockouts only hurt players. What are your thoughts on it?
It hurts the owners a little bit too. Zeros behind your check. And with that being said, a number of zeros behind your check. And
That's from y'all standpoint. The fans don't really care how much money you make. We just want to see better.
Parker knows the weight of a crown. When she calls Caitlin Clark the GOAT, she's signaling more than skill. It's about impact, influence, and transcending the game itself. Think about the context here. The WNBA is navigating a new era. CBA negotiations are heating up. Players are demanding fair compensation, and social media has given athletes unprecedented visibility and power. Caitlin Clark embodies all of that. Her scoring range, court IQ, and ability to draw fans are modern-era weapons that the league hasn't seen in decades. Candace recognizes this, and that's why she publicly crowned Clark, not quietly, not in passing, but on a platform where everyone could hear it. This isn't just a nod to her talent, it's a statement on timing and legacy. Clark is entering the professional scene at a moment when women's basketball is hungry for stars who can define the game, sell tickets, and inspire the next generation. And Parker, having been through it all, sees the rare combination of skill, personality, and marketability that makes Clark not just a player, but a phenomenon. On her hoops, we know this is more than hype, it's history in the making. Candace Parker calling Caitlin Clark the GOAT is a moment that will be dissected, debated, and remembered for years. And trust me, it's only the beginning. All right, hoop fans, let's break it down. What makes Caitlin Clark so special that a legend like Candace Parker just crowned her the GOAT? First, let's talk about scoring. Clark's range is borderline absurd. She's hitting threes from spots most players wouldn't even think about, turning defense into a spectator sport. And it's not just about volume, it's efficiency. Clark can create her own shot, read the defense, and knock it down under pressure, which is exactly what makes her transcendent. Next up, court vision and basketball IQ. Candace highlighted Clark's ability to connect with people and elevate her team. That's not just hype, it's the difference between a great scorer and a generational player. Clark sees the floor in a way few players can, threading passes that open up opportunities for her teammates and forcing defenses to collapse on her. And when defenders bite on her playmaking, Clark has the shooting touch to punish them from anywhere. That's the full package skill set that turns legends into icons. Now let's factor in clutch performance. Caitlin Clark thrives when the lights are brightest. Sellout arenas, viral moments, and national TV games? She elevates her game when everyone is watching, and that's a trait Candace Parker has always respected in the greats. This is the kind of player who doesn't just score points, she shifts momentum, draws attention, and carries her team in ways that don't always show up on the stat sheet. And don't forget the cultural impact. Social media, NIL, and fan engagement have changed the game. Clark is not just a player, she's a brand, a movement, a face of women's basketball that younger athletes can look up to. Candace knows this better than anyone, having navigated that same space herself. The combination of skill, mentality, and influence is what separates a star from the GOAT in the making. So when Parker says Clark is the GOAT and the face of the game, she's not exaggerating. She's identifying a player who has everything you need to define an era. Elite skill, high basketball IQ, clutch instincts, and cultural relevance. This isn't just a player of the moment, this is a player who could shape the narrative of women's basketball for years to come. Now let's get into the spicy stuff. Candace Parker calling Caitlin Clark the GOAT isn't just praise, it's a lightning rod for controversy. The first question that comes up, is it too soon? Clark is still in the early stages of her professional career. Critics are already waving flags saying, "Hold on, let's see what she does in the WNBA first." But Parker isn't just looking at stats, she's looking at impact, influence, and the ability to transcend the game, which is something legends can spot before the rest of the world catches on. Then there's the league politics. The WNBA is in the middle of CBA negotiations. Stars are pushing for fair pay, and fans are watching every move. By elevating Clark publicly, Parker is indirectly highlighting the value of the players themselves. She's saying, this is who should be at the center of the conversation. This is who deserves attention, recognition, and yes, compensation. That doesn't sit well with everyone, especially some traditionalists who think praise should come after championships or years in the league. And let's not ignore the social media factor. Clark has a massive following. Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, and other rising stars are in the conversation too. But Clark's ability to connect with fans online, her marketability, her personality, her viral moments, creates tension. Candace is essentially saying, talent matters, but so does influence. Some critics may call it hype or question the legitimacy of social media as a measuring stick for greatness. But Parker is making it clear. This is the modern era of basketball, and Clark embodies it. Finally, the personal stakes are real. Clark is stepping into a spotlight that's bright, relentless, and full of expectations. Parker's praise raises the stakes. Every game, every shot, every highlight reel will now be dissected through the lens of GOAT potential. That's pressure most players never face this early in their careers. But Clark has already proven she thrives in the spotlight, and Parker's endorsement just lit a fire that could propel her to even greater heights, or make every misstep feel magnified. In short, Candace Parker's words are more than flattery. They're a challenge. They force the league, the fans, and the players themselves to rethink who defines the game today. And in the world of women's basketball, that kind of statement doesn't go unnoticed. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of why Caitlin Clark isn't just a star. She's a phenomenon. First, her shooting mechanics are elite. Clark has that rare combination of range, quick release, and accuracy under pressure. Think about it. Defenders can't give her an inch, but she'll still knock down contested threes from 30 feet out. That kind of range doesn't just score points, it changes how opponents defend the entire court. Off-ball movement and shot selection are other areas where she excels. Clark reads defenses like a chess master, knowing exactly when to attack, when to pass, and when to pull up for a shot that most players wouldn't even consider. Next, let's talk court vision. Candace Parker highlighted this for a reason. Clark doesn't just see the open man, she creates opportunities out of chaos. She's constantly scanning, anticipating rotations, and making passes that force defenses to scramble. That kind of basketball IQ separates a good player from a generational talent. It's one thing to score, it's another to elevate everyone around you while dictating the pace of the game. Then there's the mental game. Clark thrives under pressure. Sellout crowds, viral moments, nationally televised games. She's in her element. Candace knows that a player's mindset is just as important as skill, and Clark has the confidence, poise, and fearlessness to handle the spotlight. That's why Parker's endorsement carries so much weight. She recognizes not just the talent, but the psychological fortitude to carry a team and represent an entire sport. And don't forget cultural impact. Clark isn't playing in a vacuum. Social media, NIL deals, and fan engagement have created a new kind of superstar, and Clark embodies it perfectly. She's connecting with younger audiences, drawing attention to the WNBA, and proving that women's basketball can generate excitement on the same level as any major sport. Candace sees that. She's acknowledging that Clark is shaping the future of the game both on and off the court. When you put it all together, skill, IQ, clutch performance, and cultural relevance, it's easy to see why Candace Parker called Caitlin Clark the GOAT and the face of women's basketball. This isn't hype. This is a comprehensive acknowledgement of greatness that extends beyond stats or highlights. It's about defining an era. Candace Parker's endorsement of Caitlin Clark goes far beyond a single player. It sends ripples through the entire landscape of women's basketball. When a legend declares someone the GOAT and the face of the sport, it's more than opinion. It's a signal to the league, the fans, and the next generation of players. It tells everyone that women's basketball has a star capable of transcending the court, of driving the narrative, and of commanding attention in a way that can't be ignored. For the WNBA, this is huge. The league is at a crossroads, negotiating a new CBA, addressing pay equity, and striving to attract and retain top talent. Clark's rise, and Parker's public backing shines a spotlight on the value female athletes bring to the table. It's a reminder that stars like Clark are not just athletes, they're influencers, role models, and revenue drivers. When the conversation shifts from, "Do they deserve attention?" to, "This is the face of women's basketball," the league is forced to elevate its game, improve contracts, and embrace the stars who will carry it forward. Culturally, the impact is even bigger. Young players watching Caitlin Clark see a path that wasn't always clear, a path to fame, influence, and respect in women's basketball. Social media, NIL deals, and viral moments are giving these athletes unprecedented visibility. Candace Parker recognizes that Clark isn't just scoring points, she's changing how fans engage with the sport. Every highlight, every clutch shot, every viral post reinforces the message: women's basketball can compete for attention on the global stage. This endorsement also sets the stage for healthy competition. Clark now represents a benchmark, not just for her peers, but for the next generation of stars. Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, and other rising talents are part of the story. But Clark is positioned as the standard, the player everyone is chasing. That tension fuels greater performance, more attention, and ultimately, more growth for the sport. On her hoops, we see this as more than hype. It's a turning point. Candace Parker's words are a challenge to the WNBA, a rallying cry for fans, and a declaration that the next era of women's basketball isn't coming, it's here, and Caitlin Clark is leading the charge. So here's the bottom line, hoop fans. Candace Parker just dropped a bombshell on the women's basketball world. By calling Caitlin Clark the GOAT and the face of the sport, she didn't just praise a player, she declared the future of the game. Clark is no longer just a college star or the next big thing. She's now the benchmark, the player who defines what it means to dominate, to influence, and to inspire in modern women's basketball. Think about what that means. Every WNBA game, every highlight reel, every social media post now carries more weight. Clark's performance isn't just about wins, it's about legacy, visibility, and cultural impact. Candace Parker, someone who's seen it all, is giving her stamp of approval. That's not something you shrug off. That's history being written in real time, and we're all watching it unfold. And let's be honest, the conversation around women's basketball is evolving fast. The CBA negotiations, fair pay debates, and growing fan engagement are putting the league under a microscope. Clark's rise, backed by a legend like Parker, is a wake-up call for the WNBA and the sports world at large. It's proof that the next era of basketball isn't just about talent. It's about influence, personality, and the ability to connect with fans on every platform. For fans of the game, this is electrifying. For young players dreaming of the big stage, it's inspiring. For critics and skeptics, it's a challenge they can't ignore. Caitlin Clark has set a new standard, and Candace Parker's declaration ensures that everyone knows it. Whether you're watching the highlights, following the stats, or just enjoying the viral moments, one thing is clear: Clark is here to stay, and she's already shaping the future of the sport. So, hoop fans, this is your moment. Jump into the conversation, watch the games, follow the highlights, witness the rise of a generational talent in real time. On Her Hoops, we'll keep breaking down every shot, every moment, and every move Clark makes. Because this is bigger than a season. This is the making of a legend. If you're as hyped as we are about this, smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you subscribe to Her Hoops so you don't miss a single breakdown of Caitlin Clark, Candace Parker, and the future of women's basketball. Trust me, hoop fans, you do not want to sleep on this era.